President-elect Donald Trump has announced another major cabinet nomination. Mr. Trump will tap Georgia Congressman Tom Price to serve as Secretary of Health and Human Services. Price is one of the strongest critics of Obamacare. He has proposed a detailed plan to repeal and replace the law. Before entering Congress, he was an orthopedic surgeon. The president-elect is also holding meetings today with two candidates for Secretary of State, Tennessee Senator Bob Corker and 2012 GOP presidential nominee Mitt Romney. Mr. Trump talked yesterday with retired four-star general and former CIA Director David Petraeus. John Heilemann is managing editor of Bloomberg Politics. John, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. First, Secretary of State. The president-elect's choice for who he wants is one thing. Getting them confirmed by the United States Senate is another.
That's true.
Yeah. And how does that affect his choice?
I don't think there's, it seems hard for me to imagine that any of the current people who are being considered are going to have a real problem getting through a Republican Senate. I mean, obviously, David Petraeus has some vetting issues, but, and clearly, you know, there are many people who will point out that for a Republican president-elect who spent a lot of his campaign attacking Hillary Clinton over her email use and over the questions of how she handled classified material, David Petraeus, that's the thing in which he got in trouble with the law for. There will be a fight over that if David Petraeus is nominated. But it's, again, hard for me to believe that any of these candidates would actually have a problem getting through this Senate.
Do you see a front runner here? You know, Kellyanne Conway has been very vocal in her disapproval about Mitt Romney. You know, there are reports that Kellyanne has gone rogue. She made it very clear that that's not the case, that she has a support of Donald Trump. Do you see anything, the way that they're handling this and the way it's playing out, is there a leading contender in your mind?
The only mind that matters on this is the mind of Donald Trump. And, you know, this whole Kellyanne Conway thing seems to me to have been a wildly overblown story. Donald Trump likes chaos. And it's pretty clear to me, Kellyanne Conway may be a lot of things. She's not dumb. That's right. And I don't think she came forward and said anything that she did not feel comfortable saying in the context of maintaining her close relationship to Mr. Trump. So I think everyone I talk to about this says the same thing, which is, man, we just don't know what Donald Trump's thinking. And there's things like what he thinks the cut of the jib, you know, the notion that Mitt Romney looks like a Secretary of State. It might seem crazy to some people that matters to Donald Trump, but it seems to really matter to Donald Trump. I wouldn't be surprised if any of the following people, Rudy Giuliani, Mitt Romney, and David Petraeus, any of those three people end up being Secretary of State would not surprise me.
Tom Price, now nominated to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services, ardent opponent of Obamacare. He's called Obamacare crazy. What does this tell you right now about where the president-elect is going on the Affordable Care Act? Well,
the president-elect spent, again, a large part of the campaign saying that he was going to repeal or replace Obamacare starting on day one, which is always a little bit of a dramatic and overly dramatic and kind of a bit of over-promising. Can't really do that in one day. But you know, this pick is really consistent with what President-elect Trump campaigned on. Whether doing the replacement of Obamacare is a complicated thing, but it's true that Congressman Price has put forward a pretty, I mean, unlike many Republicans who criticize the law, Congressman Price has a replacement. The more interesting question, or at least an interesting question, is the fact that Congressman Price also wants to overhaul Medicare in a pretty dramatic way, along the lines of the way that Paul Ryan suggested, which is basically trying to turn Medicare into a voucher program. And that's something that President-elect Trump said he was adamantly against throughout the campaign. So there's some, on the question of repealing and replacing Obamacare, there's alignment between the new proposed HHS chairman, secretary, and the president-elect. On the question of what to do about Medicare, which is obviously the biggest, most important federal entitlement, there's some disagreement, at least right now, between the HHS proposed chair, secretary, and the president-elect.
And Mitt Romney and Donald Trump having dinner tonight at a French restaurant.
It's true. You guys have not been on Donald Trump's Twitter feed this morning yet, though, have you?
No.
So we have the news of this morning is that out of nowhere, apparently, the president-elect has come out with a tweet this morning about flag burning. Not sure what provoked this tweet, but he's suggesting now that if someone burns the American flag, they should be thrown in jail or perhaps lose their citizenship. Not clear whether Mr. Trump is familiar with the constitutional law on this matter, which is that flag burning is, at this moment at least, protected speech under the First Amendment. And I don't think even if you were to amend the Constitution, you would be able to strip someone's citizenship from them for pretty much any reason.
Well, there hasn't been a campaign like it, and that still continues.
Yes.
Well, we're talking about it now.
That's right.
The tweets, right?
We certainly are.
John Heilemann.
Talking about it a lot today, I think.
Yep. John Heilemann, thank you.